So these government workers, so they can't read a statute declaration. Apparently, you can't read a statute declaration, which I've written. That was given to immigration. I've backed it up with supporting documents and evidence that back up what I'm saying is the truth, and that my mother lied. Even my twin sisters lied. Amanda's a fucking liar. She's completely designed out of my life for good. Go and have a look at the photos I put on social media. There is a photo taken in 1990. Amanda's on the left hand side, so her hair's like, because Amanda was always blonde, she was always fair. I'm on the right hand side, my hair's black. My hair's been naturally black since I grew up from being a toddler. I used to bleach it, meaning not like all over, but put foils for it. Blonde, copper, and chocolate. I used to lighten my hair, not darken it. I'm naturally dark features. I take after Stanley Fleming, who looks like he's Arabic. Dad's father. In that photo taken in 1990, that photo was taken by Annette Craven. Annette Craven from Penrith was my dad's long-term partner. My dad's Mark Ian Fleming, a retired builder. He's in the middle of that photo. That's Dad. Okay, that's Dad. You'll see him. He's wearing a white polo shirt. He's got covered in jewelry, like gold jewelry in his hands. He's wearing grey pants, brown belt, brown shoes. Okay, that's my dad, Mark Ian Fleming. Mark Ian Fleming's sport was baseball and deep sea scuba diving. Mum's sport was equestrian. My sport growing up was soccer. Okay, I played soccer until Mum moved. I had to give it up because where she moved to, there was no soccer. You people have it wrong, so horribly wrong, and all my family's originally from the inner city suburbs of Sydney and moved. If you keep this going for one more goddamn fucking day, believe me, I'm not going to stop already until I sue your ass for 11 years. I don't support open borders, whatever leftist shit I've been dragged into. I support going for immigration the right way. I do not support the diversity visa at all. At all. Okay, I'm really pissed off that I was suggested to go through that. I do not support it. All right. When you've got wrong information, as I've said to organisations now for 11 years, information that you've got and characteristics that you've got doesn't relate to me. Even situations and upbringing doesn't relate to me. But it does relate to Mum's sister, Robin Child's son, Shane Childs, who was heavily involved in cannabis growing up. And you must have got that from someone who knows him from either Housing Commission, Deadbeat Losers, Aboriginals, or you could have also got it from Nicolette Jones, because Nicolette Jones's neighbour was Shane Child's good friend, and his name's Casey Tribe. They lived across the road from a Freemason nursing home called Moonby House, where my mother's second husband worked. Not her first husband. I'm from her first husband. Her second husband was Mark Rackley, the builder. Oh, sorry. Mark Rackley, the nurse. Sorry. Oh my God. See, get on a tangent. Was Mark Rackley not the builder? The builder's my father, Mark Ian Fleming. The nurse is Mark Rackley, my stepfather. They are two completely different people, and I'm not going to go and bring the photo albums out again and start showing you photos of myself growing up. These aren't other people's children. This is to prove that your descriptions of me isn't me. I've shown photos of myself growing up, and literally have people say, "Oh, that's not him." I was like, "Well, that is actually me." But I've said to you now since 2015, who you're describing isn't me. You've described Shane Childs. Okay, you've described Daniel Rackley. Now, Daniel Rackley used to affiliate at the Freemason nursing home called Moonby House with his father, Mark Rackley. So they're both involved in that type of, nursing type stuff. I'm so tired. Like, I even mispronounced a word today, and I've always been when I'm not, trying to be a parramatta. Oh my God, my leg. No, where my grandmother was, my great grandmother Mary, and my grand uncle, I used to pronunciate my words extremely clearly and well. And maybe that's because that was before I was mugged anyway. Maybe it's that. But you just made up stories, because as for even my dad's side, my dad's father's not born in Australia. Like the Arabic looking man on my social media is my pop. And we didn't call him granddad. So you must have got that from my mother, because my mother lies and she's carrying on with her Irish crap. So there's something really creepy about my mum and my sister. They're weird. My mother, my twin sister, my mother's Carol Ann Purdy. Purdy's her maiden name. Okay, Amanda Lee Fleming. Fleming's her maiden name. and then the other half-caste piece of shit junkie, which my mum had with her second husband, which is Faith Marie Rackley. Those three, there's a photo, creepy photo, and we all look normal except for those three. There is something seriously wrong with their minds. So mum starts telling people, oh, the twins' fathers, the twins' father, like he's like his father used to make them call him granddad. It's like, no. And all my cousins on Fleming's side can confirm this. It's like, no, it was Pop Fleming. He was never called granddad. You're talking about Don Rackley, mum. Don Rackley always said, it's granddad. Now, Don Rackley is Mark Rackley's father, the bored man. So the boredness comes from the Rackleys, not the Flemings. There's no pattern boredness in the Fleming side. So my mum's repeated shit for years, and it's like, Mum, you do know I'm not related to your second husband, Mark Rackley? You do know this, right? She's so sick in the head that she's been repeating bullshit now. She should be locked in a mental home. She has been literally repeating bullshit since she got with Mark Rackley when we were 7 years of age. Started dating him when Dad walked out. But Dad was in our life. Dad was always in our life. He was always there. He was a very good father, my father, Mark Fleming. But she has been repeating bullshit. She should be locked up. Like she would tell people stuff to do with me. It's like, that's not going to do with me. It's to do with the Rackleys. But she's been doing it. That's how long she's been doing it now. We're talking 40 years. My mother's been doing this. She's sick in the head. She should be locked over in jail in a mental home. She should be spending the rest of her life in a mental home, actually. Considering this is now, we're talking 40 years, and my mother's convinced Amanda stuff that has happened that's never happened. That's why I've stopped believing Amanda now. I don't know if Amanda's told people the truth in 2012 or not. I can't. I don't know. Okay, because there was no evidence of what Amanda said to be truthful. And after what Mum's done, I'm like, well, I can't believe, I'm sorry, but you've just lied about your own brother, Amanda. So I honestly feel that you've got to get some serious help because of what Mum's made you. Like, my mother turned my twin sister off our father's family, where I grew up with my father's family. So my twin sister has been trapped with my mother, Carol Purdy, for years. And it's like a controlled environment under a bubble where she's fed shit. Well, I wasn't. I wasn't close to really mum. I wasn't really close to my mother ever. But I was very close to my dad. I was very close to my dad right up to 2012. We had a fight, which, I'm not going to blame it on fault. We had a fight. But, if he wants to stop being a dickhead and we can meet up again for lunch, I would. No, Dad and I were really close. I've still got my dad's trophies from when he was a kid, when he played baseball. Dad's a lovely father. He's a builder, and I was his son, so we used to have his son with him. It's he's lovely, but my mum's a bit nuts. So she was telling people about, I was like bored. It's like, okay, like all this boredness stuff. It's like, well, the Flemings aren't bored, Mum. The Rackleys are bored. So pattern boredness runs for the Rackleys, and I'd be like, again, Mum, you do know that I'm not related to your second husband, right? You've lost the plot. She lost the plot since she moved to Tamworth in April 1989. And now she tells people, oh, they made a mistake. It's like, no, Carol, you were telling people that our name was Rackley. You lost the plot. This needs to be investigated right back for a long time because she should be locked up. Okay, so Amanda and myself, our father's a retired builder. Okay, Mark Fleming. Mark Fleming did do the refurbishment at the Palace Hotel in Haymarket. He also did, the building company he worked for did that food court area in the 90s. It's probably changed since then. He used to build the inside of Westfield shopping complexes. That's what my dad's job was. He's a builder. My dad's not a nurse. So in the last 11 years, I'm going to leave this on the 10 minutes and say again, you government workers, groups and organisations, and if you're trying to do some royal commission into child molesting, okay, I think you might want to reopen that again. Because I can tell you now that people lie. My mum tried to say that I was molested for a scam. I'm telling you, there's a lot of bullshit, and the bullshit scams coming from government organisations. So my hair is naturally dark brown near black. My skin has never been white or red in my life, except for when I've had eczema. So I have eczema, psoriasis. And I get eczema, psoriasis, and I get a antibiotic-resistant staph infection. Staph looks red on my skin. Eczema and psoriasis looks red on my skin. Okay, my skin's naturally a dark color because my dad's father had dark olive skin, very dark olive skin. I've got a photo of him out somewhere. I should get a photo of Pop standing for me and leave out. But he had extremely dark olive skin. Okay, dark features, thick black hair, one eyebrow. He looked Arabic, or some people say he looks Italian. Other people say he looks Greek. Other people say he looks Turkish. He does not look. He doesn't look. Well, he's not from the UK. Okay, so he's not. Yeah. Okay, and Fleming, he's definitely not Scottish or Irish. Fleming comes from the Flanders area. It's Flemish. Fleming's Flemish, you fucking dickheads. Fleming is Flemish. So my surname Fleming is Flemish. It comes from an area where Belgium meets France. So maybe it was just a dark Belgium. Okay, but there's a lot of stuff there with my dad's father because he was actually well, okay, we don't even know he was really orphaned. We know he didn't know his parents. There's something there where he was sent to Sydney as an orphan on a boat where Edith Kavanagh got him and raised him along with another guy who was Maltese. So there was a Maltese guy and there was Stanley Fleming raised by Edith Kavanagh. Okay, they were not born in Australia. He was about 6 years old when he came to Australia, my dad's father. So about that age. Okay. Now, I do know my family heritage and history, and I have grown up with my dad's side, and I've grown up with the family members on my mother's side that I actually am really close to. So I've grown up with Reg and Lola Purdy. Okay, so yes, Lola has French, Irish, and English descendants. Okay, so I know more Lola's side because I keep in touch with Lola's side, including her brother's son, my cousin. So I was very close to my nan Lola's side. I was very close to my nan Lola. I was very close to her mother Mary. I was very close to her uncle Leo. Leo is the one we call Uncle Fred. So I know all of that side really well. The Purdys, well, not close to. My own grandfather, Reginald George Purdy, couldn't stand them. Could not stand his sister's children, anything related to him. He disowned them. So Reginald George Purdy disowned his sister, and he used to always say to me, that's who his daughters remind him of. In nature, they're exactly like his mother, Lillian. So Lillian Purdy, her maiden name's Steele. So Lillian Steele. And Valerie Purdy, who became Evans, Valerie Evans. And she had Lynette. And my grandfather could not stand it because the nature out of his three daughters' mouths was exactly like Lillian and Valerie. And he could not stand it. Okay? He wanted daughters to be like, Julia and Mary. So my nan's grandmother, my nan's mother, basically. And Julia used to live in Bellevue Hill at one stage. Well, my nana used to go to see her in Bellevue Hill, but it was Julia's sisters who lived in Bellevue Hill. Now, this is all correct. So Julia, when she got married, so she married George Sayer. Julia Ryan, okay, that's the Irish part. Julia Ryan married George Sayer, an Englishman, and moved to Wellington, New South Wales. Julia's sisters stayed in Bellevue Hill. Julia's sister, which was May Ryan, which is why my grandmother's middle name is May. May Ryan, whose married name is Goff, and Annie Ryan, whose married name is William Shawkner. Their mother is Bridget Dufresne. Their father is Matthew Joseph Ryan. None of this information came from birth, deaths, and marriage or whatever bullshit Ancestry.com. This information came directly from my family members. You've got Uncle Fred, you've got Lola, and it was actually Reg who first brought up about Nan being French to me. Because my Nan's maiden name's Keegan. Okay, it's because Nan's father's Keegan. It's Arthur William James Keegan. He was a jockey. Nan's mother is Mary Sayer. So I remember because I said, "Well, like online, like, you're French, Nan?" She's, "Yes, Justin." Like, oh, how you know? It's like, well, your name's Keegan, Nan. So it's not exactly a French name. She was no, but Dufresne is. And it was her great grandmother who was Dufresne. It's like, oh, so it's Bridget Dufresne, and yeah, her great grandmother. I was like, oh, okay, well, you got me, basically, yeah. Because I'm looking at my nan, when I was a kid, thinking, okay, it's French and Irish, and I said no. And then she goes, where do you think my high cheekbones, meaning her high cheekbones, come from? This is my nan when she was younger. And she is very French looking. And like nan used to point out and say, where do you think my looks come from, Justin? And where do you think Lola comes from? That's Lola. So that's my nana Lola there, when she was young. And that's Reg. And that's Reg's car with Lola up against it. So nan's like, where do you think Lola comes from? It's French. Why do you think my name's French? So, and I don't think my nan's daughters ever thought of that. So, I don't think they ever thought of that. Ever. Basically, like, how come their mum has a French name? So that's why. And this is my dad's father. So this is at Ettalong Beach where they all used to spend holidays, summer holidays. So that's my dad's father. That's Stanley Fleming. There's my dad there, and there's my auntie Sandra who passed on. It's my grandparents as well. So the thing is, what I've said is the truth, and what's going on is a scam. And it's a scam using the fact that I was mugged after work November 30th, 2007 and trying to elaborate and make it into a big brain damage, and he's changed. So this has been, we just want you to get better and get back to who you were. It's like, no, you do understand that this is all bullshit lies, right? To George Jacobs. He's changed. No, there is no change in me. There never was a change. Except for the fact that I'm getting old and I've got physical health injuries that plague me with. But I have not changed. Okay. And here is me competing at Sydney Royal. There is me when I'm about 22. By the way, this is across the road from my nan's house in 43 Piper Street, Leichhardt. That's myself with Johnny Totaro. That's in 2004. You can see that. That's my grandfather, Reg Purdy. Of course, he's got jet black hair as well. Reginald George Purdy had jet black hair as well. That's myself when I'm working as a VIP host at Star Casino. It's going to come. It's all on social media. That's us at Mum and us at the races. This is a bit beyond the joke now. Excuse me for that. But this is absolutely ridiculous. Now, I already said back in 2018, that was me just playing a prank on these idiots that just broke surveillance laws. Okay, but what I've stated is the truth. Now, this has just gone so far. That's like, okay, you do know it's 11 years now, guys. You do know, in actual fact, I could go right back to 2008 from when I was first told by my solicitor that I don't have to tell George Jacobs the truth because he would never use a statement from George Jacobs. You do know that there is just wrong information, and you do know that I've been trying to have it corrected since 2015. So yes, I was mugged and robbed November 30, 2007 on my way home from work. And this is where there's now wrong diagnosis that's reckless endangering my health, because the issues that people think I have, I don't have. Which means the issues that I do have are not getting medical attention. And I've been saying this now for the past 11 years. Can you please correct the lies and the wrong information, because it's causing reckless endangerment to my health? One big issue is, so when I was in a coma, but it was a brief coma, but I remember it. So I remember very clearly, and I do not want to forget this, because in the past I actually worked through by remembering it really well. So basically I remember being like stood on the mugging. November 30th, 2007. I remember all of it, except when it slipped into the coma and then woke up in St. Vincent's. But there's issues there to do with the flashbacks, okay, and the sleep terrors. I mean, I would wake up screaming, which now my neighbours made me feel very uncomfortable because I'm talking in my sleep. It's like, okay, you need to be arrested. I'm not going to back down from this, because we're going to move forward and get another legal team involved in this as well, and disability, because you need to be arrested. Actively recording a person who's living with disability. Actively record. You need to be charged. I'll go as far as saying you need to be deported. Actively recording a person that's living with disability that has sleep terrors, I would jump up, which I was actually, I think that's why. It's funny. I made a mistake and I rang Giovanni Consalvo today when I wasn't looking at my phone, and he answered. And he goes, "Why'd you call?" I was like, I didn't know what to say, because I was like, I didn't. I was like, that's the reason. Giovanni knows. So Giovanni Craig Consalvo knows that I have sleep terrors where I jump up out of bed from the sleep terror, and I'll be screaming or saying things in my sleep. He's lived through it. And I thought, shit, that's probably why my subconscious, like it was a fluke that I rang him. I was like, there's a reason behind this. I said, I'm going to have to ask a statement from him. So I want her charged. My two neighbours upstairs, and so I'm going to work with a legal team to have them both arrested for, well, it is to do with my disability, and they've been actually breaking several laws. So I don't want them just arrested for, they're trying to make up stories with me reacting with their, you should have seen their aggression. These two women were so aggressive. You should have seen it. I'm glad that in Darwin Centre Court there's cameras everywhere, and I'm sure the magistrate saw their aggression. And I turned to my solicitor and I said, "You see that? That's the aggression I've had since I've moved in." And he goes, "I can see there's some issues going on. They don't, like I said, they didn't want me here. They did not want me here." I said, that's the aggression. So you see her throwing her weight around? I said, "You see that, Larissa? That's what she's been doing." I said, "You see that?" And he goes, "Yeah," like he said, "All right." Like he said, "It's obviously," I said, "Yeah." I said, "But just focus on my reactions after a year of this behaviour from her." I said, "No, deport her. Deport her. Who does she think she is? This is Australia. Thanks. Both my grandparents fought in wars for Australia. Stanley Fleming and Reginald George Purdy both fought in wars for Australia. So did my great uncle Leo Patrick Sayer. So did other uncles. They fought for Australia, not for you. Not for you to come here and reap the benefits that they fought for." And she is an absolute, oh, you should see the attitude on these disgusting people. I think that just highlights what's wrong with our immigration policy at the moment. I think this highlights quite a lot with where our immigration and foreign minister needs to be focused on. And there is a whole group of people, I don't care if you've been in this country 20 odd years, deport. We need a massive amount of clean-up in Australia. I'm going to leave it there. So I'm going to focus, but yeah, back to the sleep terrors. Um, I've had two major injuries in my life. You have no right to, break laws into a person's life, which is what they think they're entitled to do. So I'm just so, mortified, traumatized. I'm going to say extremely traumatized and tortured. Absolutely tortured. I think it's disgusting.